On this episode of Off Track, what would an All Black Avengers team really look like? I'm going to share my thoughts and perspectives with you. Plus, we're going to talk about Batwing, Mark DeClive-Lowe, and a couple of other things. This is episode 4. Let's go. Greetings everyone, and welcome to another episode of Off Track. My name is Lamar Harris, aka DJ Nune, and as always, I wanted to remind you to take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you can be notified about alerts when videos are going up. Be sure to follow me on social media at LamarHarris314, and be sure to visit the website thelamarharris.com. So the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about like some of the things that were going on in the MCU, some of the things we were excited to see, and we kind of just got to talking about like ultimate squads, and we got on the subject of the ultimate Avenger squad that would be African American. And everybody has different opinions and different perspectives. And this is just my view of what that squad would consist of. I'm not going to go too much into everybody's backstory or anything, but this is just kind of my opinion, quick synopsis. If you get a chance to go research these characters that you aren't familiar with, I do highly recommend it. On my squad off the top, since I'm sitting on the throne of Wakanda, you definitely have to have a Black Panther. And in my opinion, you get 2 for 1 because you got Black Panther, you automatically should get Shuri. So we all are familiar with Black Panther, has vibranium, highly intellect, skilled combatant, has super strength and agility. You got Shuri as the master tech behind Black Panther, but also is a great inventor and creator in her own right. So I believe you got a Black Panther on there. You technically got 2 Black Panthers on there. So that would be starting the squad off. The next person I would put on my squad automatically would honestly be Storm. Storm can control the elements, call down lightning, do a variety of things, fly. She's one of the original X-Men, depending on which version. I always consider her one of the originals from the 90s, because when I first saw the animated series, that you know what I'm talking about. You saw Storm in it. So I would definitely have somebody like Storm. And plus, if you're familiar with the comics, Storm and Black Panther used to have a thing. So you might as well just bring the family on in. Another character who we've seen in the MCU, but in my opinion, they still keep playing her shady, is Monica Rambeau, aka the original and first Captain Marvel. She is one of those high-powered characters that is technically living energy. So when you're dealing with a lot of high omega level threats, she would definitely be the person that can definitely help in that area. And she's one of those fighters that's like one of your big guns. You bring Monica Rambeau to the fight, it's some stuff gonna get rectified real quick and shut down. So you've got to have somebody like that on the team. I also believe you need to have somebody that is a master inventor and creator on the team. Now, granted, we do have Shuri, courtesy of being with Black Panther in my imaginary world, but you also need somebody like Ironheart. If you're not familiar with Ironheart, aka Riri Williams, she is an inventor that created her own AI and her own arc reactor, her own suit of armor. Did I mention she was only like 16 years old? So, in my opinion, sidebar, I love the original Iron Man, but I think Riri Williams would definitely be a better replacement in the MCU moving forward to have Riri Williams as Ironheart inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But for this team, I would definitely have her on the squad. Another character that you definitely want to have, in my opinion, no Avengers team is complete without a webhead. Why not Miles Morales? We all have watched Into the Spider-Verse, so we're familiar with what Miles can do. Even though he's young, he brings a variety of powers that are unique to the team, such as his stealth ability, his agility, his super strength, but at the same time, he's also good comedic relief. And you've got to definitely have that on the team. So I would have Miles Morales on my Ultimate Avengers squad. The other person that you definitely have to have is a masterful sorcerer. And no other than who? Brother Voodoo. The name says it all, Brother Voodoo. If you're not familiar with Brother Voodoo, aka Jerome Drum, he actually held the title of Sorcerer Supreme, but he also is able to control living spirits. He's very skilled in the realm of magic and sorcery. He can call upon the spirit of his brother Daniel. He can do a variety of things. He's held his own against people like Dr. Doom. And you definitely need somebody who's skilled in the dark arts and in sorcery and voodoo, who can definitely help round out that team and that element. The other person who I would bring into my particular team, I'm going to limit this to like 7, is somebody I mentioned in my last video, Adam Brashear, aka Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel is one of those characters that is strong enough to take on the Hulk, Thor, and Sentry. He is like an Omega level character that, in my opinion, doesn't get the full just due that he deserves. He is also part of the Ultimate Squad and can fly. He's a masterful physicist and inventor. He can absorb energy, manipulate energy. He has superhuman strength and stamina, invulnerability. I mean, the man is like OP. If you get a chance to go into his backstory, it's a very interesting one, and one that kind of speaks to a lot of things in real life that are happening today, but also it's amazing how there's a lot of truth inside of a comic book when you're dealing with certain situations. So definitely check out Blue Marvel. But he would round out my team. So I would have Storm, Blue Marvel, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Monica Rambeau, Ironheart, Brother Voodoo. But you definitely need somebody to kind of help lead this team that is, in my opinion, a pull the strings behind the curtain and veil. As much as I like Nick Fury, I wouldn't use Nick Fury. I actually would use Night Trasher. Who? Night Trasher. Still don't know who Night Trasher is. Night Trasher, aka Dwayne Taylor. He's one of the founder of the New Warriors and head of the Taylor Foundation. He's a master martial artist, skilled in hand-to-hand combat. He's a skilled inventor and computer hacker, but he's also a masterful tactician. He is one of those characters that you don't see really that much anymore in the comics, but I feel they need to definitely bring him back. And I would love to see some version of him in some live action film or television series. He actually rides a skateboard. He has these cool sticks that come together as staffs. He is pretty cool to just watch, and his thought process is pretty, in my opinion, on par with somebody like Batman. So I would definitely have him being the leader of the team. You don't necessarily have to see him in action all the time, but he would be the one calling those shots. So I'm curious of who would you want to see if Ryan Coogler said today, I'm going to do a Black Avengers squad, who would you want to see on that team? Leave your comments below and let me know. I was watching DC Daily the other day, and Ryan Wynn just happened to be on there. And I was like, man, this would be a cool opportunity to talk about another one of my favorite DC characters, Batwing. If you're not familiar with Batwing, there's a couple different versions of Batwing. There's a comic book story version of him. Then there's also the animated movie one with Batman Bad Blood.
Looks like you could use a little help.
Hello, nurse.
Luke? You want a megaphone to announce that? Call me Batwing.
If we're looking at the Batman Bad Blood, he's the son of Lucius Fox. Lucius Fox is the one that creates all of Batman's tech, for the most part. Something happens where Batman is kidnapped. Nightwing is assumed the mantle of Batman. Damian Wayans is now Robin. We have Batwoman. Something happens to Lucius Fox. Enter Batwoman. That's the last time until Justice League Dark Apocalypse War that we saw Batwing on screen. So the comic book version actually gives a different perspective of his time over in Africa. He's a trained combatant, highly skilled tactician, doesn't need all the fancy gadgets to be able to handle the mission, but he does have some pretty cool gadgets. He has a cool suit of armor, can shoot electric batarangs. He's just one of those cool characters that, in my opinion, is very underrated, and I would love to see a version of him inside of the DC universe somewhere, whether it be on a television show or be in the movies, but I prefer to see him in the movies. So if you get a chance, definitely check out Batwing. Stop by your neighborhood comic book store, pick up a copy, start reading it. Let me know what you think.
If you could, would you please? How many LMCs are capturing the mass? One hits, they do their little do for just a day or two, but then they never last. Ringtones, the labels cashing in, they think they're gonna win from this phenomenon. I'm thinking I'll do me, let the music carry me, let the music carry on.
When I was DJing back at Lola, one of the things that Chris would always do is bring in different artists that not only he loved, but he felt there were good exposure for the culture and the scene in the St. Louis area. And one of these particular artists was a guy by the name of Mark DeClive Lowe. Mark DeClive Lowe, when I first saw him, I was DJing on the other side and I walked over and I kind of just put my set on autopilot for a second and just was like floored. Watching him like take samples, still spinning live. His rig is kind of crazy. And he would have like machine and building the beat right there, but still not missing the beat where it was still danceable. Playing keys, sampling the stuff, resampling the samples, and just doing all of this at once and just transitioning from song to song. So he was taking all these different acapellas and small stems and technically rebuilding the song right there on the spot within a matter of like, technically like 4 minutes. And it was just like crazy. I never seen anybody do anything like that. I did get a chance to play with him at what he called his church. It was just like what he called like this big conglomerate of jam session of musicians. And I knew he could play, but I was kind of amazed at his keyboarding skills. And I always start off like most of the time when I kind of warm up, there's a couple different songs of his that I definitely love to start off with. If you're not familiar with Mark DeClive Lowe, definitely follow him, hit him up, let him know where you heard his name mentioned here on this show, and definitely let me know what you think about his music. He has a wealth of knowledge about world music, hip hop, break beats, sampling. He would definitely be a person I would recommend definitely giving a listen to. Mark DeClive Lowe. Well, that about does it for this episode of Off Track. And before I go, I want to leave you with this. I always love, again, you know I love music. So one of my favorite songs is actually Mobb Deep's Shook Ones. So they shook. There ain't no such things as halfway crooks, scared to death, scared to look, they shook. There ain't no such things as halfway crooks, scared to death, they scared to look, living the life of the diamonds and guns. There's numerous ways to earn funds. There's numerous ways to earn funds right now. There's a variety of different things that as a creator, you have ideas that you should be trying to get out during this time and create your business and start your business. You know you always wanted to work for yourself. You should be starting the process of doing those things. Getting the LLC together, getting the business plan together, trying to figure out where you can get the funding from. I know sometimes the funds can be a little tight, but you can find a way to use the things that you have around you to be able to come up with that creative idea to start that business. This is the time to be able to create businesses and create things that can be able to build wealth for you in the future. There's numerous ways to earn funds. Don't get shook. Stay on track by staying off track.